Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we are sharing with you the one simple thought that changed our lives and helped us to retire early.
This is a thought that we had way back when we were first married, back when we were in our 20s, and we were trying to figure out what we were going to do in life. We just graduated college and trying to figure out really what direction our life was going to take. And we made a decision that altered the course of our life, and I think would alter the course of a lot of people's life, just based on this one thought. And that thought was that most people figure out what they want to do in life, where they want to live, where they want to be, and then they try to find a job that will support that lifestyle. In other words, they'll say, well, I want to get this house, I want to live in this neighborhood, and so in order to do that, I need to work a job that's going to pay this much, so I'm going to find a job doing that, even if it's a job maybe they don't like. We just made a decision in our 20s that we will always do what we want to do, and we will simply live on whatever money that earns us, period. And that has been a life-changing thought.
It has been life-changing. It really set us on a path that was a little bit more outside the box than what the people around us were doing, but it suited us and our lifestyle and what we were interested in a lot more than, we wouldn't have done as well in other realm, like altogether in life, if we had decided to just do it the other way.
Yeah, and we've changed courses several times in our life too of what we wanted to do. So like we first started out working for nonprofits, and then one year I said, you know what, I've always been interested in photography. I really want to become a photographer. We didn't know if I could make money doing that. We didn't know what the situation was with that. But that's what I wanted to do. And so she, encouraged me to take that challenge on and do it. And we did it. And it ended up working out. Now, when you do live that kind of lifestyle, your income will fluctuate wildly from year to year. So there's been years when we have made $24,000. There's been years when we've made $120,000. And when you're just doing what you want to do, it seems like you can be happier no matter which end of the spectrum you're on. So it's been kind of nice to do it that way.
Yeah, it really gives you kind of this, your life is more like in the vein of like a fearless life, really, because you're not concerned with, oh, well, what if we don't make enough? Well, we've lived on very little, so we're okay with that. Or, oh, I really want to make a lot. Well, you can do that too. It's just no matter how much you're making, at least you're happy with what you're doing. And that's really what we decided we were going to be more focusing on. And it's really made such a huge difference for us and the way we've lived our life and with raising our kids and just every aspect really of our lives.
Yeah, it has made us much more adaptable because we have always, we've made abrupt changes to the jobs we've had. Just if we ended up doing something and didn't like it anymore, we just switched because our whole thought process was, I'm not going to stay in a job that I despise just to maintain a lifestyle that I don't really even want. So we've always just done what we wanted to do, what our hearts were set on doing, and taken the consequences of that, which some years have been great, some years have been not as good, but that's what's made us able to do this lifestyle now, because right now this is what we want to do, and we both are in lockstep unison that we can live on whatever we have coming our way. Now it does just so happen that there's way more coming our way than we actually ever thought we would need, so it's not that big of a problem. But in order to take that initial jump, that was the thought process that we had, and it does make sense because you start to wonder when you talk to people that really don't like their job, like, well, I only got 12 more years of this miserable job, and then I can hopefully, have 5 years of happiness. And that never made sense to us in our 20s to do that the whole time. And so if you're, thinking about something like that, the quicker you change that mentality, the quicker you can be happy, because it's made us happy doing what you love, because doing what you love brings happiness.
Exactly. And that's the thing, is that it isn't about things. It's about, the joy and the happiness and having a good and healthy life. It's not necessarily connected to the dollars that we've been making, because we were just as happy making 24,000 as we were making 120,000, because we were doing something that we loved and that we truly enjoyed, and we were okay with whatever the amount was that was going to be coming in. We adjusted our life to that, and in any of the cases, anywhere in between there, what we've been making, we've always tried to live below the means of what we were making anyways, even when it was on the lower end.
Yeah, and part of that made us realize that when we were in those years when we made a lot more money, that it really didn't bring much more happiness, because there's a limit. Once you get past about $30,000 to $40,000 in America, there's a limit to the amount of happiness that more money brings you. So, for instance, if you can afford a car, if you can afford a Toyota Corolla, you can do the same things as if you can afford a Lamborghini. It's not going to get you there any faster. It's not going to be any more reliable. There's really nothing better about it other than maybe how it makes you feel to your friends or something, but that's just kind of an ego thing. For instance, also, if you have a PS5, a PlayStation 5, costs like $500. Well, if you can afford that, there is no PlayStation 6 that if you had $1 million you could buy. If you have the iPhone 15, there is no iPhone 18 or 20 out right now that you could buy if you had a bunch of extra money. So there's a limiting capacity to what the money can do, and generally people that are over $50,000 start to spend that money on things that really don't improve happiness at all. They just make them feel like they're doing something because it's a new thing. But we found that whether we were at the 30 or 40,000 range, really no difference between that and 90 or 100. It just, you end up wasting more money on fancy stuff.
Yeah, and that's really where you actually start to get into a lot of trouble. Once you start introducing more things into the picture, then you start to bury yourself underneath all of those things that you've purchased. And I think that really is what hurts a lot of people in the other thought process, where I want to make X amount of dollars for sure, like I don't want to make less than 100,000 or whatever. That's all well and good, but just know that you're just going to be buying more things or more expensive versions of things. It's kind of like the difference between, for the most part, if you're buying the generic brand of, say, like, milk or cereal or whatever, compared to the name brand of milk or cereal or whatever, there's generally not much difference between them. That's the same thing in this case, like you were saying earlier with the car. If you're buying one kind of car that costs a lot less, or you're buying a car that costs way more, you're still going to get, from your house to work, the same thing. There's still a speed limit, so it's not like you can go any faster. Yeah, you can go faster in the Lamborghini, but you can't, because you both have the same speed limit. You both have the same laws. So it's not really about having more expensive things, and the more expensive things you have, like the person that has a Lamborghini has to concern themselves more with insurance and making sure that it's protected and taking extra good care of it and all those types of things, where the person with a Corolla, driving to work, coming back, no problems, don't have to stress about, oh my goodness, somebody's going to steal my car. It's just a regular car, just like everybody else. So I think that also affects your life in the long term.
Yeah, it does add to the stress. And it also, when you get trapped into this lifestyle where you're trying to maintain a number, you're going to end up working longer. When you could have retired at 50, you're going to end up retiring at 65. And at the end of your years of working, you're going to look back and you're going to say, I worked that extra 15 years just to have a little bit better car, which was meaningless, or to have a little bit bigger phone, or to have, something that really didn't improve lifestyle that much. And so, do you want to trade 15 years of working in a job that you don't really like for things that are only marginally better to your life right now?
Yeah, and it does also, this lifestyle and this thought process really does also encourage you to be a really hard worker.
Yeah.
And you really make a bigger commitment as far as the work is concerned, because again, you're committed to it. It's something that you enjoy. When you're working, doing something that you don't necessarily enjoy, but you're just trading your time for the dollars, then there's a better chance of you becoming more resentful and not ever really truly enjoying what you actually do.
Yeah, I remember when I started work as a photographer, had no idea how it was going to go, and I remember driving down the road. We were going somewhere, and you were driving. I was sitting in the front seat with my computer editing pictures because I was trying anything I could to make this thing work. I remember, I think it was on a vacation we were on, and being up in the hotel editing pictures, and the three of you were asleep because we were trying to get that to go, and it was okay, and I enjoyed it because I was loving it, because it was what I wanted to be doing. And the same thing with some of the jobs you've taken on that you wanted to do, is that it's like a passion, and it didn't really feel like work staying up at 2 in the morning editing those pictures, because I was really, really into it.
Yeah. And then really at the end of the day, all of that is what gave us the courage to do what we're doing now.
Right. Yeah. It has, because without that just thought process that, you know what, whatever happens, we're gonna do what makes us happy. We're gonna follow our hearts on these things. It's hard to make a leap, and so I think you start introducing that thought process into your daily life, and start realizing that I would be happier if I did what I want versus buying things that impress other people. Because a lot of times that's why we're buying some of those things, and we've bought them too. You're buying them because you like it, but because it will bring some type of status. And at the end of the day, that's just not worth the time you trade to get those things.
Yeah, it really just is what's going to make the big difference in your life. If what level of true joy life will actually bring you. So we share this as a bit of, kind of hope and encouragement, and just as a note of something different to think about. It really did make a huge difference for us, and hopefully it will encourage somebody else to think in this way.
And speaking of joy, just to drive it home one more way, is that we routinely talk about how happy the people we meet traveling the world are, and they don't have the means that we have. And sometimes I say, I wish I could be as happy as these people that I met today. And they're just happy. And so it's not about the money. We meet people of very low means sometimes, and they're so happy. And it's about your attitude, it's about your mindset, and what you take out of life.
Yeah, so guys, let us know what you think down in the comments. We hope you enjoyed this, a little bit of a different twist and thought process of what we were thinking, and something that really has meant a lot to us throughout our lives. And hopefully we'll see you guys next time.